Hello guys, it's Julia. So today's video is going to be my third new eyeshadow palette anti-haul. So you guys seem to really enjoy this video. I'm thinking about making it a series. I've done 2 of these so far, and this is my 3rd one. Basically, it's just where I go through newly released eyeshadow palettes or palettes that are coming soon. I share my thoughts on them, why I'm not going to be buying them. And then, if you guys don't know my format, in the end of the video, I like to inject 5 eyeshadow palettes I'm actually planning on buying, just to bring a little bit of positivity to the anti-haul. So you guys seem to really enjoy these videos. I get a lot of feedback on these ones. You guys like to share what you're not buying, and I just think it's a really great way to kind of combat that consumerist mindset of just buying everything. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's get into my March anti-haul because there's so many eyeshadow palettes coming out. There's been so much activity in the beauty world, and I just gotta share my thoughts on them. So let's get right into it. If you see me looking down, that's because I have my laptop on my lap. I'm just looking at the palettes on my laptop. So yeah, the first palette that I'm not going to be buying is the new Natasha Denona Mini Sunset palette. I love Natasha's formula. I think she has an amazing eyeshadow formula, and a lot of people really like the Sunset palette. That really just drew me in when I first saw it. I was like, oh my god, the warm tones are beautiful. But there's been so many warm tone palettes coming out, and when I saw this one, I was like, oh, that's a cute little way to sample the Sunset palette. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's probably going to be $48, which is in accordance with the other 5-pan eyeshadow palettes. When I saw it was $24, I was like, did she like change the formula? Is she lowering the price, or did she make it very, very tiny? And it was the third one. She made the palette so tiny. It's like the size of like the palm of my hand. You're getting really tiny eyeshadow pans, like probably the size of what's in the Viseart Petite Pro, which is a tiny palette. You are getting to sample her formula, so I get that this is good for someone who's never tried her formula, but I have tried her formula. I have 2 palettes from her. I do really like the formula, but I feel like this is not really a representation of the Sunset palette itself. I would have liked to see her throw in one of the like yellow mattes in there, or maybe even the fiery red matte. And then she chose some really just basic shimmer shades that pretty much everyone has in their collection. So I just think this palette is 5 shades of beige that you already have in your collection. You really do not need this if you have an extensive eyeshadow palette collection. I get that it's Natasha Denona, I get that people want to try it, but the pan size is tiny. I just don't think it's a good deal for what you're paying. And yeah, I'm not attracted to this palette at all. So yeah, I'm going to be skipping on the new Natasha Denona Mini Sunset palette. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys buying this one? I know a lot of people are excited about this. I'm just not one of them. So then to go along with the new Mini Sunset palette, Natasha is coming out with the Tropic palette. So this one is, like her other palettes, $129. There's amazing, beautiful shades in here. 15 shades in total. You have 2 rows of like kind of neutral shades, and then the bottom has some really fun colors. And oh my god, I love this palette. It looks absolutely beautiful. There was a controversy where it was like you get a little bit less product in it, or it weighs less or something, but you're still paying the same price. So people were kind of annoyed about that. This just looks absolutely stunning. $129 is a lot of money to pay for an eyeshadow palette. I know that I have a Pat McGrath palette, so I can't really be talking there. I spend a lot of money on makeup, but whew, I'm kind of trying to restrain myself right now. I did go a little bit crazy in January and February on my makeup purchasing, so I'm not on a no-buy by any means. I did buy some of the new Anastasia releases, but I'm trying to like maybe go on like a low buy. It's not really working that well, but I'm trying. And this palette is stunning. Every fiber of my body is telling me, oh my god, get this palette, it's so beautiful. I really, really, really want it. But I should not buy this. I might ask for this for my birthday. My birthday is in May. If anyone wants to be my sugar daddy and buy me this palette, I would love it, but I cannot buy this myself just because looking at it, the entire first top 2 rows are colors I already have, and then looking at the bottom, I have a lot of these colors in like the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette and other colorful palettes I own. The only thing I really do not have in my collection is that one like lilac purple shade, so I love that color. I would really like to try out that color and maybe get like a single of it, but for the entire palette, $129, I just cannot justify it, especially after I've bought like my Pat McGrath palette. I've spent money on other stuff, and whew, I'm just trying to restrain myself. Yeah, I can't buy this on my own, no. Viseart is coming out with 2 new Theory palettes. So they're coming out with the Absinthe palette, which is more of a green tone, and then they're coming out with Siren, which has like peach tones. I really like the Viseart formula. It's very good. It's definitely formulated for pros, so I can understand why a lot of people like it. But half of these palettes are shimmers, and I'm not really a huge fan of the Viseart shimmers. I prefer a more like foiled shimmer, like something that really shows up as like glittery and like super beautiful and chunky and textured on the eyes. I do Instagram makeup. You should follow me on Instagram if you don't already, but I do Instagram makeup. I really like having shimmers that show up on the eyes really well. And then the green palette, there's only like 3 green colors. The rest of them are just basic neutrals that you probably already have, so I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't step out of their box and go for like a nice rich dark green matte. That would make me really, really happy, and then I would actually buy the palette. But since it's just a brown matte and a black matte, I don't really need that in my collection. And then the peachy tone palette, we pretty much all have these colors, I think. And it's just $45 is a lot to pay for 6 eyeshadows that I already have. The formula is good, but I'm not a huge fan of the shimmers. So I'm going to be passing on the new Viseart Theory palettes. Let me know what you guys think. I know a lot of people really love these ones. I just think, I don't know, it doesn't really excite me at all, and I don't want to be buying makeup that I'm not excited for, if that makes sense. So I would definitely rather have the Natasha palette than these Viseart palettes. So the next palette that I will not be buying is the new Marc Jacobs palette that's coming in the Coconut collection, which I am very excited for. They're coming out with that bronzer again. So the eyeshadow palette looks really pretty. I love the white sleek packaging. I just think it's a gorgeous, gorgeous way to like store your makeup in that beautiful packaging. It looks very pristine. It doesn't look like it would get really easily dirty just because it's like easy to wipe down. But the color's in there. I already have all these peachy neutrals. I do not need more of them in my collection. I really do like the formula of Marc Jacobs eyeshadows. I think it's one of the best high-end formulas, hands down. But yeah, no, it's going to be a $50 eyeshadow palette. You're getting 7 shades in there. They're beautiful. I think you could really create a nice work-appropriate look, and if you really like peaches and pink tones, you would love this palette. But I already have so many colors like this in my collection. I do not need this palette. No matter how beautiful the packaging is, I just can't get sucked into that. So I'm going to be passing on the new Marc Jacobs Coconut palette. The bronzer I might get, again, if anyone wants to buy that for me, thank you. But yeah, passing on the palette. There is a new Violet Voss palette coming out, and I believe it was in December that they came out with their last one, the hashtag palette, so it seems very soon that they're coming out with a new eyeshadow palette. This one has some green tones in there, but that's it. They only have like 3 greens, and then the rest of it is all warm neutrals, which we've all seen before from every Violet Voss palette. So I think if you own any Violet Voss palette, you really do not need this one. For me, this kind of looks like the Laura Lee palette, so if you missed out on that one and you want to get this one, go ahead. I have these colors already. I do not need another just full of warm neutrals palette. It's $45. I do think the formula is great. I've tried their shadows before and it's a really nice formula, but I don't need it, and it's kind of boring me. I've seen this before. I think there really needs to be some new innovation in the beauty industry, and I know that's easier said than done. It's so hard to come up with new ideas sometimes, but I'm tired of these warm neutral palettes. It's just, I love a good warm neutral palette, but this one is just overdoing it. If you have any other Violet Voss palette, you do not need this one. Alright, so Tarte is coming out with a new Mermaid Dreams palette, and I know that everyone's on the bandwagon of hating like mermaid makeup and unicorn makeup. Everyone's just tired of it. I personally don't hate it. I love colorful makeup, so I love seeing when brands come out with a really nice colorful collection, and for a lot of brands that means coming out with a nice unicorn collection or a mermaid collection, so I'm not opposed to it by any means. And when I first saw this palette, the first thing I thought was, oh my god, the packaging. It is a stunning, stunning packaging. It's like a seashell. It comes in like a nice fabric, like almost like faux leather case, so that looks gorgeous. And then I saw the inside of the palette and I was like, really? Because there's basically peachy tone neutrals and then 3 blue shades. If it was going to be a mermaid palette, I would expect blues and greens and like turquoises, maybe lilacs, duochromes, shimmers, everything, but it's just peachy toned nudes and then 3 like kind of teal shades. So I love the packaging. It's probably gorgeous. I do like the quality of Tarte's eyeshadows. I cannot justify this palette because it's $42 for tones I already have in my collection. I'd be buying it for the packaging, and I just can't do that. So for those reasons, I'm going to be passing on the new Tarte Be a Mermaid and Make Waves palette. That's a long name, and I can't do it. It's really pretty on the outside, but pretty boring on the inside. Alright, so Kylie Cosmetics just came out with the new weather collection named after her new baby Stormy. I actually think that's a really cute idea, just to name a collection after your daughter. I know some people are like not here for it, but I think it's a really cute idea. And I really like the palettes she came out with. I think they're very unique, definitely taking a twist from what's coming out lately in the beauty industry. 2 palettes coming out. I just want to talk about the first one. I believe it's called Eye of the Storm. It's really, really cool. There's some amazing colors in here. There's like a yellow highlighter yellow. There's a dark blue shimmery shade, a dark green shimmery shade, and I was so entranced with this. I was like, oh my god, I'm definitely buying this one. And then I took a step back and I realized this is literally the Prism palette from Anastasia, which is still available. I bought that in, I want to say October or November. I've been using that very often. This has that highlighter yellow, it has the dark blue Osiris, it has the dark green Throne. I have these colors in my collection. I know it looks like a very unique palette, but This is literally the Prism palette with a couple extra shades. I do not need another duplicate in my collection. I just think it's a really gorgeous palette, and I gotta commend Kylie for coming out with something new and exciting and very like never done before in the beauty industry, but it has been done before. It's the Prism palette. So I'm gonna be skipping on the new Kylie Eye of the Storm palette. I will be talking later about the other palette that she's coming out with because that's in the yes list, but spoiler alert. I'm not buying this palette. It's gorgeous. I love that it's unique, but I don't need it. Alright, so next up, not really an eyeshadow palette, but I did want to include it in here. It's from one of my favorite brands called Kevyn. They came out with the new Prismatic Highlighting Trio. So I really like the way that Kevyn's taking their brand. They're starting to do some really imaginative things. First they did the Electropop palette, then they came out with some of those like molten glosses that were kind of duochrome, and now they have these like really pretty highlighting trios, like holographic shades or iridescent like colorful shades, and I think that's really cool. I'm not buying this though because it's $48 and you're getting 3 tiny highlighters. It's tiny. It's a tiny palette. You're getting 3 shades. It's $48. Do the math. That's insane. So I'm not buying this palette. It looks gorgeous. I love that Kevyn's kind of stepping out of their comfort zone, but no. Next from Pretty Vulgar are the new, I think it's called the Phoenix Rising eyeshadow palette. It looks really pretty, and I was like, oh my god, that looks gorgeous. I really was intrigued when I first saw it, but then I realized it kind of looks like the Naked Heat, and they're a little bit late on the neutral warm tone palette, and also it's $35, and I've heard some not great things about the Pretty Vulgar eyeshadows. I'm passing on the new Pretty Vulgar eyeshadow palette. It looks really gorgeous, like the packaging is stunning, but I don't need it. I'm good, thank you. Speaking of the Naked Heat, Urban Decay just came out with the Naked Petite Heat. So it's basically a mini version of the Naked Heat palette. They kind of have the Naked Basics palette, so those have 6 shades in them. And I really like the formula inside the Naked Basics palettes. I think it's a really great matte formula, and these look like gorgeous colors, but I already have the Naked Heat, so I don't need a mini version of it. I've heard some people saying like, oh, it's perfect for travel, you can just take this one and you can leave your Naked Heat at home, but it's not that much smaller than the Naked Heat. You can totally fit the Naked Heat into your suitcase if you really wanted to, so yeah, I don't really need this. It doesn't call me in any ways. If you wanted some like warm toned neutral mattes to complement any like shimmer shades you have, I guess go for this one, but I already have the Naked Heat, so I just don't need it. Next, I want to speak on the new Viseart Petite Pro eyeshadow palette. I just realized we're talking about Viseart quite a bit in this video, sorry, but the new Viseart Petite Pro eyeshadow palette, I already have the original Petite Pro. It's really cute. This one has 8 shades in it, like the other one, and it's $30. So it's a pretty good way to sample the Viseart formula. I think the pan size is going to be similar to what's in the new Natasha Denona Mini Sunset palette. So it's really small pan sizes, and they're really, really cute. It's good for travel. It's good for like throwing in your purse if you want to do touch-ups and stuff. This looks gorgeous. I first saw it and I was like, wow, the colors are beautiful. There's 4 shimmers, so I'm not a huge fan of the shimmer shades. They're good. They're not my favorite formula. And then the 4 mattes in there. I love the matte formula from Viseart, but I looked at them and I was like, that looks very familiar. And it looks exactly like the Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes palette. So I have that one. I love that palette. I don't need these colors. They're gorgeous. This one calls to me a lot more than the original Petite Pro did, but I don't need this one. It's gorgeous. It's probably a great formula, and I think anyone who wants to try Viseart shadows would love this palette, but I just don't need it. The colors are gorgeous, but I already have them, so no. Next up is a palette from Lime Crime, and I actually don't own anything from Lime Crime. I know they're a controversial brand, and I probably would not actually buy from them, but I knew a lot of people were talking about the Lime Crime Venus Extra Large palette, and I looked at this and I was like, nothing new, basically. It's basically an extended version of the Modern Renaissance or the Venus 1 palette. It's just all like pink tones and red tones and everything we've seen before, so this was just really boring to me. It's $56. It has a mirror in there, and the colors are gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, I love colors like this. I use my Modern Renaissance like all the damn time, but this is just the same thing that we've been seeing over and over. It looks like a fusion of the Modern Renaissance and the Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes, and I don't need it. So I'm skipping on the Venus XL. Probably will never buy anything from Lime Crime just because they totally turn me off as a brand. Alright, next up, the Too Faced Life is a Festival eyeshadow palette. They came out with the Life is a Festival collection. It's kind of a unicorn themed and like rainbow themed collection. And again, as I said, I don't hate unicorn themed makeup. It's kind of overplayed. But if that's what it takes for brands to experiment with color, I'll take it. This palette looks really cute. I think the packaging is adorable, and the colors in here look really, really nice. Too Faced is kind of dicey with their collections. If it's permanent, it's usually a good palette, but if it's like limited edition, it's usually like decent. So I didn't really want to take a risk, especially for $42. It looks like a bunch of colors I already have. The pastels in here look really nice, but it's pretty much all shimmers, and I really want some like nice, rich pastel matte shades. So for that reason, I'm skipping on the Too Faced Life is a Festival collection. I think it's adorable. I think the theme is pretty cute, but I'm good. I'm gonna pass. So next I'm skipping on the Urban Decay Backtalk palette. So this one is a palette that comes with 4 cheek shades and then 8 eyeshadow shades. So I really like that this palette is really nice and monochromatic. You have a very clear color theme here. It's based off the lipstick shade Backtalk, and I think it's a really cute idea. I really do like that lipstick shade. I think it's nice, like mauve toned, pink toned collection. I saw that Mariah Leonard did a video with this palette and it looked gorgeous on her. She can pull off literally anything. But when I saw the colors and I saw the eyeshadow look she created, she looked amazing. Don't get me wrong. She is gorgeous. She can do no wrong. I love Mariah Leonard, but I knew immediately that this would make me look sick. Like I was dying. I just do not have the undertones to pull this palette off. I think people with like a pink undertone would look great in this, but I have a very yellow undertone and I just think I would look terrible. So I'm going to skip on the Backtalk palette. I do think it's a great deal because you're getting the face shades and the eye shades in there, and I think it's gorgeous. I love the monochromatic look, do not get me wrong. I don't want to look sick. So I'm skipping on this palette. Also, I just don't think there's enough mattes in there. I would love to see some like nice mauve toned, like pink toned mattes. And unfortunately, they just put a lot of shimmers in there. So I think a couple of the shades in there that could be matte instead of shimmer, and I would really enjoy that, but I can't do this. I'm gonna look terrible in it, so I'm passing on this one. Let me know what you guys think. Next, Too Faced is revamping their natural collection. So they have the Natural Matte and Natural Eyes palette, and I'm talking about the face palette later in the video. Hint, hint. The Natural Matte and Natural Eyes palette, I'm going to be skipping on both of them. I already have the Natural Love palette, which was, it came out earlier in 2017. It was decent. It's not the best palette in the world, but it had some of the prettiest packaging I've ever seen. And I get sucked into Too Faced packaging a lot. I really like their packaging. I think they do make amazing quality stuff. I know that these two palettes are like cult favorite staple items in a lot of people's collections. So if you want to get the revamped version, I think it's beautiful. They did like emboss a nice pattern into the eyeshadow pans and they just look gorgeous. So they're beautiful and I think they're amazing for beginners. I do not need palettes like this. I already have all the neutrals in my collection that I would ever need. So I'm skipping on the Natural Matte and the Natural Eyes. They look gorgeous, but I just don't need them. So yeah. Next, I want to talk about the Blackmoon Cosmetics Orb of Light palette. So Blackmoon Cosmetics is an indie brand and they came out with their first eyeshadow palette. So I've really been following their brand. I think they have a really cool thing going on. They make really unique colors. And I was really disappointed when I saw this palette because this is warm tone neutrals. They basically took the most boring shades. I mean, they're not boring. They're nice colors. We've seen this before. I would have loved to see them come out with some kind of like grungy, kind of like what Anastasia did with Subculture. I would love to see them come out with their amazing eyeshadow formula in like a cool, like themed palette. But this one is just very basic colors. You have a nice fiery matte red and then like a yellow, like a burnt mustard yellow. They're gorgeous, but I have colors like this. I have the Subculture palette, I have the Modern Renaissance, I have mattes, I have matte reds, I have matte oranges, I have basically every color in here, so I'm good. I do not need this palette. I would love to see what they come out with in the future. It is pretty expensive, but it's an indie brand, so I will justify that. And it looks gorgeous, but it's gorgeous that I already have in my collection. So I'm passing on the Blackmoon Cosmetics palette. I think it's a really cool brand. I'm just a little bit disappointed because I think that they're more of a unique brand and I would expect something a little bit more unique for their first palette. Next on the no list is the new Viseart, my fourth Viseart palette in this video, the Viseart Tryst eyeshadow palette. So Viseart's coming out with a lot of palettes. I just realized they're coming out with so many new eyeshadow palettes and they just came out with like the Golden Hour palette a couple months ago. So I don't know what they're doing. They're kind of coming out with a lot and it's freaking me out because they're kind of going the way that ColourPop is, like releasing a lot of new things at once and it's kind of overwhelming, if you will, but you're paying $49 for 9 shades, so automatically it's pretty expensive and the colors in here are just nothing new. I think it's kind of a hybrid of the Morphe 25B palette, and then there's like one peachy matte shade, so it's kind of like a hybrid of all the palettes that they're coming out with right now, and minus those like green shades, I think it's just kind of boring. I'm gonna be passing on this Viseart palette. It just does not call my name at all. I honestly would probably forget about this. If you told me that this had come out like 5 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, okay. It just doesn't interest me in any way, so yeah, skipping on that one as well. This is a new palette from the Crayon case that I've seen a lot on YouTube lately. It's the Box of Crayons eyeshadow palette. And you're probably thinking, Julia, you've been saying that you want colorful mattes this entire video. What are you talking about? This is your palette. it does look really cool. There's so many vibrant like matte shades in here. Basically every color in the rainbow. You have vibrant mattes in here, you have some amazing shimmers. It looks like an amazing palette, and it's $30. And it's also gotten some amazing reviews here on YouTube. The reason I'm not buying this is because I believe it was either Rob Beauty Christie or Jen Loves Reviews who did this video with it, but they were talking about how there's so many like misspelled ingredients on the box. It's like kind of sketchy. The cruelty-free status is very dubious as well, and it's just kind of like sketchy. So I don't know, I'm really scared of like fake makeup or like makeup made in China that's not safe for putting on your face, because if you didn't know, fake makeup is super hazardous. I believe there's a study that found that fake makeup contains like rat droppings and stuff. It's nasty. I really want to stay away from that world, so that's why I don't buy anything that I do not know is 100% authentic. I do buy makeup on Poshmark sometimes, but I always make sure that my stuff is 100% authentic. Just know that if you're shopping in my Poshmark closet, everything is going to be 100% authentic, because fake makeup is disgusting to me. So misspelled ingredients on the box really just freaks me out. I really do not want to take a risk, put something on my eyes that is dangerous. So I do not want to put anything that will give me a bad reaction on my eyes. I just don't want to put any danger onto my face. So for that reason, I'm skipping out on this palette. It sketches me out, and everything that was going on with that palette really scared me. So for that reason, I'm skipping on this palette, even though it looks gorgeous. Final palette that I'm skipping out on is the new Jeffree Star Blood Sugar palette. So I actually got a couple of comments on my videos like, please try out the Jeffree Star Blood Sugar palette. I don't own anything from Jeffree Star. I know that he is a very controversial brand, and I would never want to get wrapped up into someone else's controversy. I know that he has said some horrible things, and I know that he's also apologized for them. It is not my place in any way to accept his apology. It's not an apology for me, it's an apology to Black women. So it's not my place to accept his apology, and it's not my place to, like, I guess, judge his character and tell everyone if he's forgiven or not. I like to think of myself as a pretty good judge of characters, so whenever someone does something wrong, I like to see if they change their actions, and that's how I judge if they should be forgiven. I know that he's gotten into some like drama, but nothing that has pertained to racism or anything like that, so I guess maybe he's doing better. I'd like to hope that he's trying to better himself and maybe learn from his mistakes. I did see a pretty big positive change from him when he did his Tarte Shape Tape foundation review, but still, I'm a little bit wary of buying anything from his brand. I don't want to put anything on my channel that would offend any of my viewers. Yeah, that's my thoughts. I'm just going to talk about the palette now. The colors in here look gorgeous, and when I first saw this, I was like, the colors in here look gorgeous. I love that there's some purple tones in here, there's some red tones. It looks beautiful. The entire like last row is stunning. A lot of people on my channel have been wanting me to review this palette, but it's $52. I have like all these colors in my collection already, and as I said, I'm on like my low buy. I really just do not want to be buying stuff I already have in my collection. So it looks gorgeous. I don't need it. Also, the packaging is very bulky. It would be kind of difficult to store, and that doesn't normally bother me. I don't really care about packaging, but I don't know, it's the little things, and I just gotta stay realistic with myself. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the Jeffree Star palette. That's my thoughts on Jeffree Star. Alright, so that concludes the anti-haul, and now I'm just gonna talk about 5 palettes that I really do want to add to my collection. So first of all, the new Pat McGrath Mothership palettes. There's 3 mini motherships, so they come with 6 colors in them, and the normal Mothership palettes have 10 colors, and then these ones are $55 each, where the big ones are $125. So for those of you who have watched my channel before, you guys know I talk about my Mothership palette all the time. I have one of the Mothership palettes, the Mothership 2. I adore it. It's the best formula of eyeshadows I've ever tried in my life. It's probably one of my favorite palettes in my collection. So I was super excited when I saw these palettes, justifiably. The first 2 palettes look really basic. I have these colors in my collection. The formula is probably amazing, and I would not mind having either of those palettes. I would definitely love them, but $55 is a lot to spend for a palette that I really already have the colors in, so I wouldn't mind having those. I would love to own them, but I'm not going to buy these myself just because I know better and I should not do that. However, the third palette called La Vie en Rose, it's absolutely stunning. This one has purples, this one has pinks and purples. It's basically everything I've been looking for. I am buying this, hands down. I am buying this palette. It is stunning. I know that I shouldn't be buying it. It's $55, it's 6 colors, but this is the best formula I've ever tried, and these colors are amazing. I just think it's the most beautiful palette ever. So I'm definitely buying the La Vie en Rose palette from Pat McGrath. Let me know what you guys think. I think this is an amazing way to try out her formula, and I just think these are stunning palettes. Alright, so the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette. I actually just bought the Ombre-Z highlighter. I really am excited to try that one out. The Soft Glam palette. I love Anastasia's formula. You guys know this if you've ever seen any of my videos. I rave about the Modern Renaissance, I rave about the Subculture, I rave about the Prism palette. I love all my Anastasia stuff, and I've never tried anything from their brand that I've actually like hated outright. So this palette is stunning, and I love colorful and I know I've been talking about neutral palettes, how I just don't want to add any more to my collection, but I will make an exception for this because this is one of my favorite formulas in the world. I think Anastasia just knocks it out of the park. Everyone has been loving this palette. I've never seen a bad review of this palette, and I just think it's so stunning. So I'm doing a very difficult thing right now, and I'm holding back from buying it. So I'm kind of saying you don't need it at this moment. You can wait. So I'm going to wait on this palette. I'm probably going to buy it somewhere down the line. I'm definitely going to buy it at some point. It will be added to my collection, just not right now because I don't need it per se. I need it, but I don't need it, if that makes sense. So I really love this palette. I will definitely be buying this one. It's all beautiful neutrals. I think it's a staple in anyone's collection. I just don't need it at this very second, if that makes sense. So I'm going to be holding off on this, but I will be buying it. I definitely want this one. It's just gorgeous, and I love it. So definitely buying the Soft Glam palette, just not right now. Alright, so next up, the Too Faced Natural Beauty Face Palette. So I talked about the Natural Matte and Natural Eyes palette, and I was like not gonna buy those ones, but then I saw this face palette and I was like, oh. You get blushes, bronzer, and highlighter in here. You have the beautiful like lace pattern embossed into the pans. It's just absolutely stunning, and also apparently it smells like coconut, which is like, I'm here for that. So I'm definitely buying this palette. So this palette is right up my alley. I believe it's probably going to be permanent just because the natural collection is usually permanent from Too Faced. So I'm super excited for this. I definitely want this palette. I think it's gorgeous. The packaging looks stunning, and this is right up my alley. This is what I want in my life. So Too Faced, yes. Alright, so fourth on the list that I really want, I mentioned this earlier in the video, Kylie Cosmetics Weather Collection. She also came out with the Calm Before the Storm, and this one is like a pastel fantasy. I love like pastel matte shades, and it's really hard to find a very good formula. I do really like Kylie's formula. I have the purple palette and I really enjoy that one. And this just has so many amazing colors in here. It's so imaginative and so new. I never see any brands coming out with like pastel colors. I think the last one that did that was probably Kat Von D with the pastel goth palette. This one looks gorgeous. It's $40. I think you have 10 shades in there and they look beautiful. And this just looks so cute. So I would really like to try this one. Probably gonna put it on like my birthday wish list. Again, if anyone of my friends wants to buy me this palette, like hit me up. But it's so beautiful, and if no one buys me this palette, I will probably buy it myself. So I really like this color. So I just really like the color scheme. I think it's an adorable idea, and then the packaging looks adorable. So definitely a fan of this Calm Before the Storm palette. What's on my wish list is the Pat McGrath Mothership IV palette in Decadence. This one is just like the other ones. It's 125. You get 10 shades in there, and it's all like shimmery jewel tones. And the Pat McGrath shimmer formula is the best formula like of all time, I think. It's absolutely stunning. These colors in here look gorgeous. I've seen so many amazing tutorials of it on Instagram, and it just looks like a beautiful palette. So this is everything. It's like fit for a queen, and so I just really want this palette, and it looks gorgeous. It's super expensive, $125. It's insane, but I'm insane too, so I really want this palette. So yeah, ending on an expensive note, that concludes my eyeshadow palette anti-haul. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you want to make this a series, if you really want to see more of these videos. I very much enjoy filming these for you guys, so let me know. They're very fun to film, and you guys seem to really enjoy them. Also, let me know in the comments what your favorite palette from this video is. Let me know your thoughts on some of these palettes. Let me know if you're picking any of them up. And yeah, that's all I have to say to you guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you made it to the very end, I love you. Thank you for watching my channel. Bye.